It always seems like we're juggling a million things at once, like work and family and trying to make time for friends. And then somewhere in there you realize, well, wait a minute, what about me?
Oh, yeah, I hear that a lot. It's easy to feel like you're constantly giving so much of yourself that there's just nothing left at the end of the day.
Totally. And that feeling of being totally drained, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. We had a listener write in about this fantastic article from Better Up called How to Really Focus on Yourself: 13 Realistic Ways to Do It by Elizabeth Perry.
Oh, yeah, saw that one.
Yeah, so she's a coach community manager there, and her background is really interesting. It's in coaching and transpersonal psychology.
Transpersonal psychology, now that's a mouthful.
I know, right? But basically, it's about looking at the spiritual side of things,
Yeah.
like the deeper aspects of what it means to be human.
Okay, I see.
And get this, the article was actually expert reviewed pretty recently, just last December, so we know it's up to date.
Very cool.
So what we really want to do today is pull out some of those practical tips from the article that you can actually use in your everyday life. Those no-nonsense ways to prioritize your well-being without feeling like you're being selfish or adding another item to your to-do list, which is probably already overflowing.
I think that's so important because self-care shouldn't feel like a chore. It should feel like something that nourishes you.
Exactly. And that's what I love about this article. It really reframes a whole idea of self-care. It's not some sort of luxury or an afterthought.
Right, like something you do if you have time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more like the foundation.
Exactly.
It's saying that if you want to be there for other people, you have to take care of yourself first.
It's like that saying you can't pour from an empty cup.
You got it.
Yeah.
If you neglect yourself, you're going to end up feeling burnt out, dissatisfied, maybe even a little depressed.
No one wants that.
And another thing I really appreciate about this article is that it doesn't present self-focus as like a one-time quick fix. It's more about an ongoing process.
Oh, I like that. It's a journey.
Yeah, it's like this journey of getting to know yourself better, understanding your thoughts and feelings, and figuring out what truly recharges you in a way that actually fits into your real life.
And the article uses this really great analogy of a garden, which I thought was so helpful for understanding this.
Oh, yeah, tell me about that.
Okay, so imagine your life is a garden. All those different parts of your life, like your job, your relationships, your hobbies, those are all different flowers in your garden.
I love that. Okay, so the flowers are the different areas of our lives.
Right. And your time and energy, that's the water.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
So if you're trying to water all of those flowers equally all the time, you're going to run out of water pretty quickly.
Yeah, your garden's going to be pretty sad looking.
And you're going to be exhausted. The key is to figure out which of those flowers really need your attention right now so that you don't completely deplete yourself.
That's so true. It's about being strategic with your energy.
Right. So when we talk about focusing on yourself, what does that actually look like in practice? What are we really talking about here?
Well, it's definitely not about saying, okay, everybody else go away. I need to focus on me now.
Right. It's not about becoming a hermit.
Exactly. It's not about being selfish either.
Hmm.
The article defines it as making your own needs and desires a priority. It's about setting boundaries and not constantly giving until you have nothing left.
Right. It's not about people pleasing all the time.
Exactly. It's recognizing that your needs matter just as much as everyone else's. And the article breaks down this whole idea of focusing on yourself into 4 key areas to consider.
Oh, that's interesting. What are those 4 areas?
All right, so first up, we have the physical area. This
Mm.
is all about making sure you're taking care of your body. Are you getting enough exercise? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating foods that nourish you? Basic stuff, but so important.
Yeah, it's the foundation.
Then there's the emotional side. This is where things like self-love and self-compassion come in. The article also talks about being mindful of how much time you spend on social media because you know how easy it is to get caught up in comparing yourself to others.
Oh, yeah, the comparison trap is a real one.
And then beyond the physical and the emotional, there's the inspirational area. I thought this was really insightful.
Yeah.
It's about things like meditation, journaling, connecting with your faith, if that's something that's important to you, even volunteering. Basically, activities that nourish your soul.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Things that give you a sense of meaning and purpose.
Right. And last but not least, there's the personal area. This is all about making time for the things you genuinely enjoy. Relaxing, pursuing your hobbies, building and nurturing those healthy relationships in your life. It's about having fun and experiencing joy.
So it's really a holistic approach to well-being.
Exactly. And the article gives us 13 realistic ways to actually start incorporating these things into our lives.
Okay, so where do we begin? What's the first step?
Well, the article really emphasizes the importance of setting healthy boundaries. And it makes sense because boundaries are what create the space for you to actually take care of yourself and experience happiness.
Without boundaries, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed and overcommitted.
All the time. You end up feeling resentful and exhausted.
Yeah, and the article talks about the importance of checking in with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what are your values? What are your energy levels right now?
Yeah, being self-aware is key.
It's about recognizing what you can realistically handle and what you need to say no to.
And then it's not enough to just know your limits. You also have to be able to communicate them clearly to other people.
Oh, that's so important.
Right. And that can be challenging for some people. But the article really emphasizes the importance of being assertive and learning to say no without feeling guilty or like you have to over-explain yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. And then building on that idea of boundaries, the article also talks about the importance of evaluating your goals.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I think it's something that a lot of us put on the back burner when life gets busy.
Oh, for sure.
But taking the time to actually sit down and think about what you want to achieve, whether it's setting new goals or revisiting old ones, it can be so powerful.
Yeah, and sometimes the goals we set for ourselves, they get kind of pushed aside when everyday life takes over.
Exactly. And, maybe there's something you've always wanted to learn or a project you've been meaning to start, but you just haven't made the time for it.
Yeah, it happens to all of us.
And the article actually gives us a really helpful tool for setting goals. It's called the SMART goal setting method. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah, SMART goals.
So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time-bound.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a great way to break down those big, overwhelming goals into smaller, manageable steps.
Exactly. It gives you a clear plan and makes it much more likely that you'll actually achieve those goals. So instead of saying, I want to be healthier, which is kind of vague, you could set a SMART goal like, I will go for a 30-minute walk 3 times a week for the next month.
That's much more concrete and actionable. I love it.
Okay, so moving on to the physical area. The article talks about the importance of exercise, and they highlight this 2022 study in Frontiers Public Health that found that even just moderate aerobic exercise can help reduce symptoms of depression, stress, and anxiety.
Interesting. So we're not talking about running marathons here, just getting your heart rate up a little bit can make a big difference.
Right, and they also found that yoga had a really positive impact on emotional health.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
But what I thought was really important was that the article really emphasizes finding an activity that you actually enjoy doing. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick with it.
Oh, absolutely. Sustainability is key
Yeah.
when it comes to exercise.
So true. And the same goes for sleep, which is the next thing the article talks about. There was this 2021 study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine that really highlighted how important sleep is for pretty much every aspect of our well-being.
It affects our mood, our energy levels, our concentration, our physical health, everything.
Everything. And the article points out how harmful sleep deprivation can be in the long run.
Yeah, it's not just about feeling tired the next day.
No, it can have serious consequences for both your physical and mental health over time.
So how do we get better sleep?
Well, the article gives some practical tips like limiting caffeine, especially later in the day, trying to avoid screens for at least an hour before bed.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, right? But it really does make a difference. And then trying to establish a consistent sleep schedule, so going to bed and waking up around the same time each day.
Makes sense.
And creating a relaxing sleep environment that's dark, quiet, and cool.
Oh, yeah. I love a cool bedroom.
Me too. And they even mention things like gentle stretching or having a cup of herbal tea before bed to help you wind down.
Nice.
And then the article moves on to nutrition. It talks about how important it is to incorporate whole foods into your diet.
What do they mean by whole foods?
Well, foods that are as close to their natural state as possible,
Sure.
like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, foods that are rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, all that good stuff.
So basically avoiding processed foods.
As much as possible, yeah. But the article also makes a really important point about balance. It's not about depriving yourself or never enjoying your favorite treats. It's more about focusing on moderation.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Right. It's about making those healthier choices most of the time.
Makes sense.
Okay, so we've talked about setting boundaries, evaluating goals, exercise, sleep, and nutrition.
That's a lot already.
I know, right? But there's more. The article then gets into some more specific self-care practices. And the first one is simply setting aside dedicated time for it.
It sounds obvious, but how many of us actually do that?
Right. It's so easy for self-care to get pushed to the bottom of our to-do list, but the article really emphasizes the importance of actually scheduling it into your day or week.
Like blocking out time on your calendar.
Exactly, just like you would any other important appointment. And it doesn't have to be a huge chunk of time. Even starting with just 10 minutes a day for something like meditation or mindfulness can make a big difference over time.
Consistency is key, I bet.
Yeah. The more regularly you engage in self-care, the more it becomes a habit, and the less likely you are to feel guilty about prioritizing yourself.
And next we have journaling. This is something I'm a big fan of personally.
Me too.
The article describes it as a powerful tool for self-reflection. It can help you process your thoughts and emotions, gain perspective, and even reduce stress and anxiety.
Totally. And if you're not sure where to start, the article suggests using journal prompts.
Oh yeah, those can be really helpful.
They can give you some direction and help you explore different aspects of your life, your goals, your values, your dreams. It can be a really great way to get to know yourself better.
Now this next one I think is particularly relevant in today's world. The article encourages us to lean into our interests.
Oh, yeah. So if there's a hobby you've always wanted to try or something new you're curious about learning, now's the time to explore it.
Exactly. It could be anything from taking a painting class to learning a new language to joining a book club.
And it doesn't have to be a formal class or anything like that.
Mm.
The article also mentions online forums and podcasts as great resources for learning new things and connecting with people who share your interests.
Okay, and speaking of technology, this
Ah,
next one is a big one, spending one evening offline each week.
this is huge.
You know, the article highlights how much time people spend on social media every day. On average, it's over 2 hours. And too much screen time can really take a toll on our well-being.
For sure. It's so easy to get caught up in the endless scroll.
Right. And there's this 2024 research from the National Institutes of Health that found that people who took a break from social media reported feeling more content and less stressed.
So this is where the idea of a digital detox comes in.
Right. It could be for a whole evening a day a week, or even just turning off your phone for a couple of hours each night.
Just giving yourself a break from the constant stimulation.
Exactly. And then shifting gears a little bit, the article also talks about the importance of living by your personal values.
Oh, yeah. Your values are like your guiding principles, you know? They're what's most important to you in life.
They're like your internal compass.
Exactly. And the article explains that when you align your life with your values, you're much more likely to feel happy and fulfilled.
And it makes decision-making easier too, I bet.
Totally. Because you have this clear framework for figuring out what's right for you. The article gives an example of the value of living a life of integrity and how that can influence how you take care of yourself, how you solve problems, how you interact with other people.
It's about walking the talk, you know.
Exactly. Okay, and then connecting back to the physical aspect for a moment, the article emphasizes the importance of spending time outside.
Oh yeah, nature is so good for the soul.
It really is. And there's actually science to back it up. Spending time outdoors has been shown to improve cognitive function, reduce stress levels, boost your mood, all sorts of good things.
And it doesn't have to be anything strenuous either.
Nope. Just getting some fresh air and sunshine can make a big difference. The article suggests things like taking a walk during your lunch break, sitting outside for a few minutes each day, even just opening your window to let in some fresh air.
Those are all really easy things to incorporate into your day.
Totally. And they even mention this idea of earthing, which is basically walking barefoot on grass or dirt.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
It's supposed to be really grounding and help you connect with the earth's energy.
Sounds very zen.
Okay, and then this next one is all about giving yourself permission to enjoy life. The article calls it indulging in pleasures.
Oh, I like that.
So it's about making time for the things that truly bring you joy, whether it's reading a good book, having a relaxing bath, spending time with loved ones, whatever lights you up.
It's about being present and savoring those little moments.
Exactly. And the article reminds us that not every activity has to be productive in a traditional sense.
Yeah, sometimes we just need to relax and have fun.
Exactly. And finally, the article talks about the importance of social connections, spending time with people you care about.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Human beings are social creatures. We need connection.
And there's research to prove it. A 2021 study in BMC Public Health showed that strong social connections can actually lead to positive health outcomes.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Having a strong support system can reduce stress, boost your mood, and even motivate you to adopt healthier behaviors.
Wow. So surrounding yourself with people who love and support you, That's not just a nice to have, it's actually essential for your well-being.
It is. And, the article points out that when you're feeling good and taking care of yourself, you actually have more to give in your relationships. You're able to show up as your best self.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've explored all 13 of these realistic ways to focus on yourself. Now, the article also talks about why this is so important, what are the benefits.
Yeah, why should we bother?
Right. What's in it for us?
Well, first of all, it can really boost your self-worth and self-esteem.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, when you prioritize your own needs, it sends a powerful message to yourself that you matter.
Absolutely. And it can also lead to more self-confidence, which can then help you go after those bigger goals and dreams that you might have.
Totally. And it's not just about your relationship with yourself. It also improves your relationships with others.
Oh, yeah, because when you're not feeling depleted and resentful, you have more energy to give to the people you care about.
Exactly. And of course, there are the direct benefits to your physical, mental, and emotional health.
Yeah.
Less stress, better mood, more energy.
It's like a ripple effect. Taking care of yourself creates a positive ripple effect that impacts every area of your life.
So true. And it's all connected.
And I think the article makes a really important point that focusing on yourself is not selfish.
Right. Sometimes people feel guilty about it.
Like they should be putting others first all the time.
But the article actually argues that ignoring your own needs can lead to bigger problems down the line, like burnout and resentment and even depression.
Yeah, it's not sustainable in the long run.
And it can actually damage your relationships with others.
So taking care of yourself is actually a way of taking care of the people around you too.
Exactly. It's about creating a win-win situation.
Now, the article also talks about how taking time for yourself can lead to self-discovery.
Oh, yeah. Like a chance to really get to know yourself better.
It's about stepping back from the busyness of life and asking yourself some really important questions.
Right. And the article gives us some really great self-reflection questions to get us started.
Oh, yeah. What are some of those questions? I'm curious.
Well, they ask things like, what do I enjoy doing when no one else is watching? That's a great one to uncover your true passions and interests.
I love that. It's about tapping into your authentic self.
And then they ask, what am I most curious about learning and how can I make that happen? It's about encouraging that lifelong learning and growth.
That's a good one. And I also like this one, when I write down my thoughts and desires, what patterns emerge?
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful one. It can really reveal a lot about your underlying needs and motivations.
It's like getting to know your subconscious mind.
Totally. And then there's this really important one. Do I treat myself with the same kindness and understanding that I would offer to a friend I care about?
Oh, that's a good question to ask yourself.
It really makes you think about how you talk to yourself and how you treat yourself.
Because sometimes we can be our own worst critics.
So true. And the article encourages us to practice self-compassion. So they ask, how do I show up for myself and practice self-compassion on a regular basis?
That's a really good reminder.
And then finally, they ask a very practical question. How often do I find myself putting the needs and wants of others ahead of my own?
Well, that's a good one to reflect on.
Yeah.
It can really highlight if you're constantly giving and not taking care of yourself.
Exactly. And these questions, they're all about helping you create a life that's aligned with your values, your needs, and your desires. It's about living a life that brings you joy and fulfillment.
I love that. So to wrap things up, we've seen that taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's actually essential.
And it's not something that has to be complicated or time-consuming. There are so many small things you can do every day to nurture yourself.
Exactly. Even just 5 or 10 minutes of dedicated self-care can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And those little moments, they add up over time.
And when you take care of yourself, you're actually better equipped to take care of the people you love and to make a positive contribution to the world.
So true. So on that note, here's a final thought for you to consider. What's one small, realistic action from everything we've talked about today that you can implement in your life starting today?
Something that feels manageable and doable.
Exactly. And just notice how it makes you feel. What does it tell you about your needs and priorities? Remember, taking care of yourself is a journey, and every small step you take brings you closer to a life of greater joy, well-being, and fulfillment.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for diving into this with me today.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Sounds good.